Yes, hello guys. So my name is Felipe Pires. Thank you so much for this time to be here. And today we're going to talk about hunting and the hunters, detection efficient testing of endpoint security sensor, right? So um, yes, actually I am a principal security engineer in research at Supinnovation, right? So let me try explain more about me. This is my contact in social medias. If you'd like to send me any questions, I'm available to talk to you. And if you'd like to share me something, should be very will be very interesting to receive new feedbacks or something like that, right? So as I mentioned, I am a principal research and security engineer at Zoop Innovation. I'm responsible to talk more about our products, not products, but because actually we have four open source products, by the way. It's possible every community using this kind of products. And I have not I, but my company has actually AutoSec. This is a very interesting open source code, open source tool to use to like, analysis code for a code actually. I am a researcher at Hack Security, and this is an international company. I'm responsible to provide some trainings about malware analysis, right? So here I'm not a writer, but I'm like to write something. Not my idea when I wrote some articles. It's not a hacking, to make a hacking an essay or Europol or something like that. My idea is to talk about bases, right? So in some of these articles, I talk about the bases, about the threats, how this kind of topics works, right? So, and I I write, this is my, I wrote this and others articles. Here's my CV that I received the signature. It's very, very, very simple. It's a misconfiguration in appropriate, configuration at the request. Basically, it's very simple, but this router is possible to sell in many countries in Europe. So of course, I send the message to the company, and I exchange many emails with the companies, but it's very simple CV. But the idea here is explain about the, as I mentioned before, about the basis, right? So let's talk about on our main topic now. And I will talk about this as our agenda about the brainstorm, change your mind, kind of teams and Zip Security Labs. And I will show you a demo about this topic that we will talk today, right? So when I prepare this presentation, I have this not new idea, but my, my idea when you, because I am a research manager and I like to study a lot about the malware analysis, about offensive security. By the way, I'm a Brazilian guy, but in the last year I worked in Poland. So, I am, I am seeing many different approaches in different countries, right? So my idea is when we talk about this guy, about the hunters or about malware analysis, usually the market, when when this kind of guy would like to talk about the managers or tech leads, or the people don't understand, usually don't understand, but don't know where is specifically this kind of professional could be work in a company. It's just in a SOC team, or a CSIR team, or incident response team in this case, or it depends, for example, a support team, or I don't know. So my idea is here it's to create a new brainstorm, right? Because when you talk about this guy, the research guy, the focus is working with a security research, like a threats. Who is threats? Threats is a generically expression, because we can find many explanation about this topic, right? My idea when I think about this is to try discovering new kind of attacks, and this guy needs to provide to a team with a proactively line of defense against APTs, advanced persistent threat, more advanced threats, right? So But the idea here is to using our offensive techniques is different because I can work with a red team, you know, just an offensive mind, but I can work with a defense team, defensive mind, right? So, but how can, you know, mix this kind of characteristics or techniques, right? So my idea when I think about this is to work with vulnerability research or development of exploits or another skill, maybe a reverse engineer is more deeply when you talk about remote analysis. Intrusion detection, how can study or learn more about this, right? And forensic analysis. When I try create these skills, I am thinking that I am trying to find a challenge. The challenge here is to deliver automated intelligence to the company to gain productivity, right? Because I need to provide something to this company. So when I think about the threats, I need to understand more about this cycle, right? So I'm trying, you know, to create a simple cycle because I have a threads no and a no. Like I need to understand more about the no threads and a no because the no threads give us acknowledgement about the behaviors, about the characteristics, and something like that. And after that, I can create different hypotheses to try and understand new unknowns threats, right? After that, of course, I need to prepare a report because this is, you know, the evidence that I can share with my manager, with my tech leads, or I knew, you know, not I knew, but my you know, another level guy in my company. But why I need to do this, Philip? Because I need to improve defenses mechanism like a sensor, as I mentioned in the title of my talk. Because usually in our companies, we have many different defensor sensors, right? Like a firewall, WAF, or endpoint protections, or, you know, IPS, or another different products like, you know, sandbox. So when I need to, not I made, but when I need to do this activity or this task, I can prepare the report and I can improve this mechanism because if I find some failure, for example, in this product or a failure in the flow of detection, I can improve my defense solutions. Of course, I will share this report with the vendor, for example. And after that, I can improve this and create the beautiful name known as cyber threat intelligence. I can build it in our company or in my company, in your company, right? Because I will understand more about the no threats and unknown threats. I will have a report. I will improve the defense mechanism and I can create this cyber threat intelligence. Of course, I know we have many different sources to, you know, receive all those informations. And after that, I can build this big intelligence in our company, right? And of course, the threats are changing all the time, right? So, and after that, of course, we have the strengthening to the cyber resilience because the threats are changing all the time, right? So I am trying to create this kind of flow. And after that, when we understand this flow, we can try to change our mind, not yours, but me and yours and everybody, right? So simple things. Who is the cyber threat intelligence? It's very simple. It's a proactive approach with a defense to the cyber defense, but with offensive mind. It's very, very simple, right? The process of proactively and interactively searching through the network to detect, isolate advanced threat. Because of this, I need to understand who is a threat, no threat, and unknown threat, right? So, but who is the threat hunter? Threat hunter, he is the guy, the professional. This guy needs to have three different like tasks or activities. First of all is recognize, after that isolate and disable potential APTs, advanced persistent threat, using of course manually or you know artificial intelligence or another different techniques to try and understand all those kind of attacks, right? And this guy needs to find any possible internal guy or bad guy or external intruder. It's very interesting expression because probably you already heard about the zero trust concept, right? So I don't can, you know, I don't can, you know, not understand, but all those people's internal people or external people are not good guy. Like, you know, I need to be untrust all those guys. I need to investigate all those guys, the internal guys and the external guys. This is a basically concept of the zero trust, right? Because I need to get a unique channel to my company to access any applications or authorization to the apps or something like that. But I need to validate all those connections, right? So the hunter, the techniques of the hunting is based, I will explain just two techniques. One of these very known, it's about IOCs, right? So like a domain, IP, or maybe a phishing website, or, you know, a part of cryptographic checksum or something like that, right? And we have some indicators included in this case. Like I mentioned, domain, IP, suspect, no, all list file cryptographic checksum, like you know, another signature detected suspicious, or such as antivirus or IDS signatures. I can find, for example, in IOC based data related to potential exploitation, or maybe a CVE related as some exploit, you know. Or in the other hand, we can use in this based like tactics or the famous TTPs, right? The techniques and procedures. This related, of course, or associated, and this kind of all list events or data or unauthorized instances like a Mimikatz, or maybe, you know, a scan internal that you are receiving in your company. So this is related are and this kind of IOCs, right? And usually the market using a very known, now not very, very old, but it's new platform, very known, the malware information sharing platform. The name is MISP. It's an open source code that you can improve this kind of cyber threat intelligence, because this is a repository of the IOCs that you can integrate all those sensors that you have, like a CM, or like a, you know, different searches, like a I don't know, you can have many different sources, like for example, past beans, or you know, you can look in, for example, at Twitter. You can look in at different sources of this kind of subject, like related, of course, IOCs. But I think you know, but the very interesting point, all those informations is related to a attack that already happened, right? So already happened this kind of attack. So I just can improve my defensor sense, but I already received this kind of attack, right? This is a simple screen of the MISP, and you can correlate all those attacks. This is a simple example about the Locky ransomware, about all those correlations, about the hashes, about the informations, the IP, as you can see here, the domain, and something like that, right? Another technique, it's based in EOA, right? Indicator of attack, right? So in this case, it's some different, because it's a little different, because the focus is in the simple question, why the intention of the attack, right? So it's more strategic in this case view, because you use, of course, the TTPs, tactics and techniques and procedures, to try and understand more what happened before the attack, not after the attack. It's very important, right? So this is the strategy, or you need to look in more deeply about this kind of indicator, right? So we have a different indicators in this case. I like to mention the not related to Endpoint, but a real-time behavior. Like, for example, in your company, you have receiving many different events in, for example, PSSEC tool based on by Microsoft, for example, and you can look and you can see in your, you know, events platform many alerts, the any guy using a PSSEC during, you know, during the night, for example, at 8, at 11 o'clock, at, you know, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So it's not a common behavior, right? So another indicator is code execution and metadata, or dynamic library called sequence of events, or different, you know, behaviors, of course, related as some digital threads, or maybe the TTPs, as I mentioned before, linked to a hostile data, such as malwares using some attacks, persistent and stealth components using attacks. And another indicator is internal hosts with a bad destinations, like you have a company, for example, in Brazil, but you don't have any, you know, business with, I don't know, US, for example. And you have many requests for the US. So maybe it's a suspicion why I am receiving this kind of requests, for example. Internal host with a non-standard port, it's very common, right? And public server or DMZ to internal host to making this kind of connection internal when you don't have this kind of connections. Of our malware detection, like I mentioned, 1 a.m. you are receiving this kind of attack. Network scan in internal hosts, multiple alarms events from a single host, the system reinfected with the malware. All those behaviors are related to a AOA, indicator of attacks, different behaviors, right? Because you, of course, you can receive the attack, but maybe you can see this different behavior, but when you look in your environment, for example, you can't find any infection, but you see the logs, you see the bad behaviors, right? But you can see the infection, but you can improve, you can try hunting more informations about this kind of behavior. Internal hosts use a much SMTP protocols, or internal hosts using a many queries to external or internal DNS. It's some you know, indicators of this kind of attack when this happened before the attacks, right? So I mentioned when I have this kind of brainstorm, when I need to create this kind of team, it's good to have a manager, tech lead, and a specialist and developer. It's very interesting. Here we can find some skills. I know that we are talking in a cybersecurity conference, but for my opinion, of course, it's a Felipe opinion, it's very interesting. We have this kind of skill, a programmable language, you know, open source code, acknowledgement, internal Windows internals, operation system, data science, because you need to correlate all those informations. Because of this, you need to have a developers inside in this team. It's very interesting to improve many different skills in your team, right? Just a simple suggestion. And I will mention about Zup Security Labs. That's my activity that I will explain more now, and I will show a demo for you, right? So here I am explaining during my presentation, I made many activities and tests in security sensor. I use in a CrowdStrike, I test CyberWeek platform and Sophos platform. And I published, by the way, in this magazine, some articles about these tests. And all those tests, I reported all those information to the vendor, right? And I am exchanging many different things with these vendors, right? And with, as I mentioned, a CyberWeek, by the way, we have a good relation with this guy, with Ali. By the way, Ali, I think it's we're talking in our conference as well, and I talk with guys from Sophos and CrowdStrike as well, right? So I will show the demo, the simple test as I did in this case, right? So my idea here is not to talk about how solution is the best or it's not the best, right? But try to explain more about some tests, because first of all, I just show you about the configurations, you know, about the settings in this case. To try explain more, I will pause the video and explain all those steps. My idea here is to try and suggest some tests that you can try you can do in your company, because when you can imagine, usually when you need to make a test or POC or POC in your environment, you know, it's very confused, because when you try to actually when you need to try this kind of solution, for example, I'm using Counter-Strike here, you need to you know, you need to try, you need to receive an attack in the same moment that you try this or you prove this product. It's confused for me, because, you know, you need to desire receive an attack during the POC. You know, for me, no makes sense, because it's I think maybe you already think about it, but imagine, oh God, you need to you request, you know, you talk to Jesus or something that you believe. I need to receive an attack now, because I need to try, I need to prove this solution. You know, no makes sense for me. So because of this, I create all those kind of tests. It's a detection and efficient test. So first of all, I apply it here, all those security policies. I using the full security policies and apply all those policies recommended by the vendor, right? So all those policies are default and aggressive mode, has its suggested by vendor, right? So the first idea in this test is, here I will show some information about the CrowdStrike, because when I install this solution, we can see here the agent sensor, right? Here the explanation, right? You can see in the desktop, but if you need to verify this information, you can see here the protection, what happened inside the machine. So in this case, it works very well, so I can do the test. First idea of my test is downloaded many different samples provided by the Zoo repository. I think you know this repository. It's from GitHub. And the first idea is to extract all those malwares that are inside of these zip files. Of course, all those malwares are malicious, as I mentioned before. I like to do all those my tests always using a malicious file, right? So the first idea is to extract all those files. But if you know this solution doesn't work with a signatures partner, right? But my idea during all those my tests in CyberWeek and in Sophos and CrowdStrike, maybe in next weeks, or you know, I am trying the Trend Micro and Kaspersky or McAfee, is to provide the same test, right? Because I need to understand how these engines for known threads works, how these engines works about unknown threads, or something like that. I need to understand about the partners, about the based on signatures, and I need to understand more about no signatures, right? So here, when I extracted all those malwares, as you can see, all those malwares undetected, because of course, if this solution didn't work with signatures, maybe the malwares are low inside our victim machine, right? So I will pass more here. The second strategy is to make a different approach. I will copy all those malwares. I will put here. Yes, I will copy all those files and this directory actually, and inside of this folders are many malwares. I copied this Counter-Strike folder to a new folder, because I move all those malwares to another folder, right? Because when you write another file inside your part of the block of the disk, if you have the real-time scan, you need to detect of this new hash or new file that was or that is writing in your part of the block. That's my point here. So as you can see, the second test is when I move many files inside my victim machine, the solution works not bad, but not detected this characteristic, right? Because I understand this is a not characteristic from not from CrowdStrike in this case, right? So another test is if CrowdStrike doesn't work with signatures partner, I need to execute the malware to try understand the behavior, right? So first of all, I try execute here the cyber ransomware. In this case, as you can see here, I have a good behavior. It was blocked by CrowdStrike, so it's very interesting. I am trying because the idea, the third test that I will execute here is I will try executing this in that case is run a scan in my environment, but the CrowdStrike doesn't have this function. The solution doesn't have the full scan because it's another test. Usually I like to do, right? So the only test that I can do in that case is to execute the malware. So when I will try execute the malware, the CrowdStrike has a good behavior. So I will show here another different malware. I have a worm because we don't have many times to talk. I will try here the worm new love. And here we have a different files, right? We have here a virtual basic script. And I will try execute the main underscore menu. We have a problem in the system operation. And here we have a malware, right? The VBS script. So when I try to execute this kind of sample, or in this case, it's a malware, we can see any alerts in my desktop, but I can see here, you know, the consumption, it's very high now, as you can see here, right? So I am trying looking the code, as you can see here, it's a no malware, right? So we have many different steps, the behavior in this case. Basically, the idea is create an extension here. So if this malware works well, all those extensions will exchange to doc VBS, as I see fast, of course, in our code. But here, as you can see, the CPU, it's very high because it's running Microsoft Windows-based script. Something are happening now, but I don't know what happened, right? And on the other hand, we have here the high memory consume and high consume of the two characteristics, CPU and memory. So something are happened, but I don't know what happened in this case. So what happened in this case? That's my question for you. If I pass more in front, nothing happened, and everything works, but not happen. What happened in this case? So I am trying executing another malware. I am trying to open another malware. So here it's not malicious. Because you know something are happening in my environment, but I don't know what happened. So I need to open another files. I am trying to execute another malware. Here's another malware, and it is portable. And here, in this case, it was blocked, as you can see here. So in this case, the engine provided by CrowdStrike, it works because it was blocked another malware, right? So I am trying to execute another different malware because here, as we can see, the engines of the behavior detection or machine learning or something like that are working because the engines, or in this case, are blocked my malicious software. I am exchange here the file again. I will rename this file in the same case, and I will execute because I know this malware. It's very no malware. By the way, I use in my class when I need to in my malware analysis course here. I will exchange all those extensions and I will execute this file, as you can see. And after that, take a look what happened. I try execute and I receive the block from CyberWeek. So all those things are happening. So, but what happened with a Windows virtual-based script? Because it's running, as you can see here, the consumption of the CPU, it's very, very high here. Take a look. So something are happening in our environment, but what happened And so as you can see here, all those extensions are changing or changed in that case. All those malwares here, it were exchanging. In this case now, and this moment now that I am showing you in this demo, my environments are infected, as you can see here, you know. So because I executed this kind of malware and unfortunately didn't detect it. Of course, I reported to the Counter-Strike. It's, I think, one month and a half ago. And I finished my demonstration and my presentation here. Sorry for, I think I consumed 5 minutes the next presentation, but this is my contact again. If you have any questions for me, I am available to talk to you in Discovery channel. It's a simple test, I know, but it's, again, it's not to talk about how security sensor is the best, right? Always better I need to have in my company, but some tests that I can improve more my security solution, right? So thank you to the staff team to invite me and for this time. It's a pleasure to me to be here with you. If you have any question, please let me know.
Thank you very much, Felipe.